miss us because we missed you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 16 of Press Breakers, where UP Power meets the spotlight. I am your host, Daily Press Sports Editor, the big dog, Mitch Vosburg. Joined back with me is producer Noah Johnson. Noah, happy Thursday. How we doing, my guy?
Hello. Happy Thursday. I'm good. It is one more day till the weekend, so I'm pumped. I'm pumped to talk about some sports.
Yeah, so we're recording a day late because our schedules right now with postseasons, which we'll talk about in a little bit, are going a little wonky. I was down in Menominee for practice last night, and yeah, here's a fun fact for you, Noah. Menominee's on the eastern edge of the central time zone. It got dark by 4:30.
Oh, it's so weird.
It was the weirdest thing ever. It was the weirdest thing ever. But I guess kick us off, my guy.
All right. Well, we're going to start with some local sports. Let's start. Menominee wins an absolute thriller over Traverse City, St. Francis, excuse me. Big dog, have you calmed down from the game yet?
I'm still mad that my favorite pair of jeans got ripped at the end. I recorded the last play of the game, that game-winning touchdown in overtime, and the dog pile celebration. I got up, I heard a whoosh. I thought, oh no. Upon further review, as my boy Jonesy would say, one of the corners in the back pocket got ripped, as well as 4 other spots got holes now. So, rest in peace to my favorite pair of jeans.
Put it on the line, folks, so you get to see up close what goes on.
Worth it. It's just jeans. I can replace those, but no. Traverse City, St. Francis. Holy smokes, that was a team that was better than 6-3. That game had so much drama. It had so much. Everything. This game had everything, as my boy Stefan would say. You had a black PAT. You had a potentially game-winning PAT by St. Francis get pushed wide left. You had a lineman catch a pass, go for 16 yards. You had a pick six to close the half. You had a sophomore backup quarterback from Menominee absolutely rip off a 46-yard pass to keep a drive alive. It had everything. It was one of those games for me as a journalist that takes off a year or two off your life. But it's worth it 100% because your stress level is oh my God, is this going to happen or not? Is this going to happen or not? Is this going to happen or not? St. Francis tied the game with 24 seconds left, but they, for some reason, decided to kick the ball to Dawson Bardowski, and if that kicker didn't make a whale of a play, the 35-yard line, I was set up in the corner, he was going to run it back to the house for a touchdown and break everybody's hearts. So, yeah, I've kind of calmed down a little bit. That was, as a journalist, it's probably one of the greatest games I've seen in my career.
That's why we do it, folks. That's why we do it. With all that said, Big Dog, the Maroons are now going to advance to the regional finals to face North. Watch this, I got it, folks. Muskegon.
Muskegon.
Ugh! We're getting there. The two faced off in the state semifinal round a year ago, with the Maroons defeating the Norsemen 32-21 in Gaylord. Big Dog, can Menominee earn another win over North?
Muskegon.
Muskegon.
Wait, also say with me.
Key.
Gen.
Gun.
Don't put it together.
Muskegon.
There you go. Yay!
All right. Are they going to get another win over North Muskegon? And what's going to be the key in the game?
So here's the thing. Last week, Traverse City St. Francis was more of an old school power style. A lot of power T, a lot of single wing stuff. They went some shotgun and spread early, but when the game got nitty gritty, they went to a power T and just ran down your throats. North Muskegon's the polar opposite, where they want to spread you out. They have some runs, but they want to take you out on the perimeter on the edge and have the battle there. It's not in between the tackles, it's more outside the tackles. So it's a totally different attack, different approach for this defense to pick up on. Now, is there familiarity from last year? Yes, there is. It's not as much as you think. Sure, you've seen it before, but it's not like Menominee's prepping to play like a Kingsford or a Calumet. They're playing facing off a team against they saw one time last year and saw some film, saw some things that looked a little similar because every team every year is different. But, yeah, I think the thing that can definitely pull off a win is just, can the defense adjust from being in such a run-stop mode out of the gate to being more of try to win the battles on the edge and make plays in space. Because you can't just pin a guy inside and say back to line of scrimmage, back to the tackles, and have him go through all that garbage. It's going to be outside. It's going to be 2-on-1, 3-on-2 kind of battles on the perimeter. So it's going to be a very different approach. But I still like Menominee in this game simply because their offense is clicking so well right now. I mean, 62 points against Houghton Lake and 35 points here today. That's about 45 a game in the postseason. So I still like Menominee here. It's just defensively, they got to make plays in space. They got to win in the perimeter.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Congrats to Menominee on an absolute thriller. And if you haven't seen Big Dog's video, please check it out. It's fun to see all those kids celebrating and so excited.
Check it out on our Facebook page, The Daily Press.
And we're going to get into some Big 5 bets, but before we do, we got to mention something.
Yeah, you were there last weekend, weren't you? Getting a new microwave.
I was.
Yeah, pretty cool place, right?
It is.
Pretty
it's
friendly
a nice place.
Yeah. So, big thanks to our sponsors, the folks at Pioneer TV and Appliance. Everything you need for your game day, whether you need a big screen TV, whether you need a surround sound system, whether you need a stove, microwave like no one needed this last weekend, anything you need for the ultimate game day experience, Pioneer TV Appliance is the place to be. Don't trust any random Joe Schmo or Jane Doe. Don't trust any so-called expert. Because most likely they're full of, something that shoots out my niece's diaper. Trust your neighborhood experts at Pioneer TV and Appliance. Located at 1116 Langton Street in beautiful downtown Escanaba.
Thank you to Pioneer for sponsoring us once again, and please check them out. Important to shop local, folks.
Oh, absolutely, especially in this economy. Absolutely important to support local.
And with that, we are going to move into some bets. Big Dog, 5 bets. Big Dog, you went 3-2 against the spread and 2-3 against the money line last week.
Yep, and I did call the Lions blow up, just not the final score. So close.
So your totals now, you've been hovering around 500 for a while.
Yes.
Money line, you're 22-26. And against the spread, you are 24-1.
Yeah.
Tell me what you like this week.
Well, first of all, first game of the week. It's one that I wish I'd be able to watch, but unfortunately with us being in this local area, I'm going to get the Lions-Jaguars game instead, which we'll get to later in this segment. Spoiler alert, that's one of the games the Morlock parlay. When the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers lock up, it is absolutely physical, smash mouth, in-your-face football. In fact, on average, since these two have played since 2000, the average final score is around 20-19. So one of my rules as a bettor, no matter who the underdog is in this game, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Pittsburgh, me being a Steelers fan, I will always bet the underdog because the margins are always that tight. Baltimore's going to walk into Pittsburgh as a 3-point favorite. Mike Tomlin as a home dog? Really? You sure about that? The way that this offense is clicking, the way the defense is going? Especially with Baltimore's back in now, secondary, still trying to figure things out. Looks like Kyle Hamilton, who had a pretty wicked injury against Cincinnati last week. Probably not going to play. It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be gritty. If you like fireworks, big plays, explosiveness, watch a different game. Steelers win this one 17-13.
That's a interesting take, Big Dog. I see where you're going, and I follow your logic, but hard to believe with the Steelers. I can understand, but with that offense of Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, I would expect them to get a little more points there. But I always have to be different than Big Dog, or at least I try to be. So give me Baltimore 20-17.
All right, that's fair. Game 2. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to walk into Buffalo as 2-point underdogs. I'll say this again. The undefeated Chiefs are 2-point underdogs. I'm smashing the living snot out of Kansas City +2 here. Look, and here's a school of thought. When you look at quarterbacks and honestly skilled players, and you look at the defense, tell me how Kansas City doesn't check all 3 boxes over Buffalo just because of Travis Kelce. Right now, you take Mahomes over Allen. You'd probably Buffalo's receivers are up and coming, but just like Kansas City, not quite fully there. In the defense, how can you not take Kansas City right now? So all 3 of those reasons, it's I made this comparison to my brother a couple years ago, and he kind of agreed. Josh Allen is our generation's version of Ben Roethlisberger.
I like that.
Big, mobile, strong arm. And unfortunately, I can't believe I'm saying this, Patrick Mahomes is our generation's Tom Brady, guy who just wins. And I've seen enough games between Big Ben and Tom Brady to know that the boogeyman's always going to show up at nightmare and ruin your life. So, for that reason alone, Chiefs win and cover 30-26.
Yeah, when we talked, I believe it was our last podcast, we talked about the possibility of the Chiefs going undefeated. And this was one of the games that we both pointed out as it's going to be tough. But it just seems like Kansas City figures out a way to win. I mean, look at the Denver game. A missed, 34-yard field goals?
Blocked.
It was blocked.
Leo Chenal bull rushed beautifully. That was, Pat McAfee broke it down beautifully how perfect Kansas City was on special teams that play.
Yeah, so they just keep figuring out a way to win. Who would have thought that in the moment I was watching the game and I was like, are you kidding me? Denver's going to be the one to beat them. But that said, Chiefs find a way to win. I can't disagree here. Give me the Chiefs 32-24.
Now we go with the moral lock parlay, which did miss. I did have a game flipped around, though. It should have been Philadelphia and the moral lock parlay, not Atlanta. But anyway, my legs still miss with Miami, which I'll get to a little bit later in the show. First leg of the parlay. Let's take the same school of thought I used the Chiefs-Bills and put it to the Jaguars-Lions game. Who would you rather have at quarterback? Jared Goff or Mac Jones?
Oh, Jared Goff.
Thank you. That should be enough right there. Every other position, you can make the case it's Lions over Jaguars. Except, maybe you want Josh Hines Allen instead of Zadarius Smith. That's the only spot I could see that that the Jaguars could win. That's one spot out of 24. 13.5 points is a lot. We're talking about a Jaguar squad that, albeit this guy's hurt, is still going to be haunted by taking Javon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. They will be haunted by that for all eternity. A plague will be set on both of their houses. It's going to be brutal. And like I called last week, the Lions had a blow-up game last week. Goff threw 5 interceptions, and the Lions still found a way to win. Now they're back home against a Jacksonville team that's spiraling out of control like a roller coaster off the tracks to the top of the hill, crashing down 500 feet. Lions win this one 45-14.
Yeah, again, I have a hard time disagreeing with you on this one. I guess the only thing is I think maybe it'll be a bigger blow up. Maybe the Lions cross that 50-point threshold. Give me the Lions 50-10.
Woo! Talk about 50 burger. I'll tell you
Uh-huh.
what. If the Lions do hit 50, I'll buy your burger for lunch next week. Sound good? If the Lions hit the 50 burger, I'll buy your burger for lunch one day next week.
Deal. But if they don't, I'll have to do something for you. We'll figure that out.
Ooh, we'll figure something out. All right. Leg 2. I talked extensively last week how the Cincinnati Bengals needed to go right now. They want to get in the playoffs. They were 4-5. They're playing Cincinnati. They're playing Baltimore, a team that they had on the ropes earlier in the year. And that was another intense, nitty-gritty game. But here's the problem, though. The defense, they blew a 14-point lead in the second half. Spare me the hole was a face mask, was a holding in the end zone. You blew a 14-point lead in the second half. Don't complain to me about the refs costing you the game. You blew that game. That defense right now has no depth. They ran out of gas in the second half. They went for 2 solely because Baltimore scored touchdowns the last 4 drives. They weren't going to stop anything. They weren't, flat out. Now you have to go on the road to face the LA Chargers. Now let's talk about the Chargers defense for a hot second. They've surrendered 118 points all year. That's the best in the NFL. They've allowed 2,719 yards in the air. That's the 4th best in the NFL. Not only that, but the Chargers offense is starting to figure things out right now. And honestly, when you look at how both teams are built, my gut is telling me right now, the Chargers are going to wear down Cincinnati in the second half, especially going to wear down the Bengals defense, just like Baltimore did last week. Cincinnati, it's the beginning of the end. I like the Chargers to have a strong second half, that Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are too much to handle. Chargers make a statement win 27-21.
Again, I have a hard time disagreeing with you. I always try to pick the Bengals and root for them on behalf of sports writer Adam Hitch.
It's okay if you don't. We're good. You're a Falcons fan. Worry about your Falcons.
Yeah, you're right. So I've gotta agree with you here. Chargers win, and I'll take a 1 point difference, 20-20.
All right, so now we're on the third leg of the Mortal Lock parlay, and my personal Mortal Lock, which I think is going to hit. Let's, Aaron Rodgers tends to be kind of full of snot a lot, but the one thing he is actually honest about is the fact that the Packers own the Bears.
They do.
Packers too own the Bears. Green Bay's coming off a bye week in a game where they did lose to the Lions, but they almost outgained the Lions 2-1. Look at the box score. Green Bay put up like 420-something yards, almost double of what Detroit did. Offensively, they moved the ball fine. They just couldn't finish in the red zone. The Bears just fired Shane Waldron, their OC. They lost. They put what? When's the last time this offense has scored a touchdown even? Well, they had 3 field goals against the Cardinals. They put up, 3 points against the Patriots last week?
Looking good in Chicago.
Now you're going to have to walk into Lambeau. This team is on fire. Green Bay's a 6-point favorite. I don't know why the number is that small. Packers off a bye week. Defense forces turnovers. Jordan Love's probably going to make one or two bad throws, so be it. But I like the Packers here 34-16. We're banging on the drum all night, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chicago fans are very disappointed, and you can't blame it all on Caleb Williams. There's a lot of factors, and he's gonna need some time to develop. But I will say his message to the punter saying you won't be punting much this season was sorely wrong.
That aged like milk.
Yeah, so again, I agree with the big dog. Packers win. I'm not, for once, I'm going to say 34-16. I'll agree with you exactly.
Wow. All right.
Feeling nice today.
All right, well, those are my big 5 bets. Again, we're back to around 500 for the against the spread. You keep my head out my rear of the money lines, but so be it.
Well, that's going to move us into Noah's Big 3 questions.
All right, lay it on me, dude.
Do you want... I got 2 football and I got 1 baseball.
Go football, baseball, football.
Perfect.
Make a baseball sandwich.
All right. Let's do your way too early NFC and AFC matchup prediction. I'm going to give you mine real quick. In the NFC, I've got my Falcons and the Detroit Lions.
No bias there at all.
No, not at all. And in the AFC, I've got the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs.
The NFC, I do like a Lions-Packers matchup. It's going to make the UP explode.
It would.
But I'll go with that. Also, John Vrancic's heart will probably break too because, those kind of games kind of drive him crazy. The AFC, I kind of like a Kansas City-Pittsburgh matchup. I mean, you have your Falcons. I'll take...
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think Buffalo needs one more year reloading, especially in linebacking core and the secondary before I really believe in them hardcore. I think Baltimore is going to get a matchup of Pittsburgh or Kansas City. I think it's going to be Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, the last 4 in the AFC. In the last 4 in the NFC, I think you're going to see Green Bay, Detroit, whoever wins the NFC South, and I'll say Philadelphia's in there. So, yeah, I do like Lions, Packers. In the NFC, I like Chiefs, Steelers. In the AFC, I still like the Lions over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl 31-29.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get at. I don't know if I'm ready to make a prediction on that, but I will say, wouldn't it be awesome if the Lions, which were the, what would you call it, just the joke of the NFL for decades, comes up and dismantles the dynasty of Kansas City. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah.
Now let's move to baseball. We are in the middle of the free agency and trade season Winter meetings are coming up December 9th. There hasn't been a lot of movement yet. You're not seeing your big movements like your Corbin Burns and your Juan Sotos. But there's been some minor transactions. Or minor but significant transactions.
Yeah, we got you.
So there are 5 here, and I just want to know which one you think is the most significant. 3 of them, by the way, involve the Los Angeles Angels. I think they are going to take some steps forward this year. First, the Atlanta Braves traded Jorge Soler to the Angels for right-handed pitcher Griff Canning. Canning couldn't really figure it out in Los Angeles.
No, he couldn't. A lot of potential there.
Yeah, so we'll see if Atlanta can work the magic there. Staying with the Angels add to their rotation Kyle Hendricks, 1 year, $2.5 million. Got a veteran arm. And then this one hurt me. Angels signed Travis d'Arnaud to a 2-year, $12 million contract. d'Arnaud did a lot for Atlanta.
Tap me on the shoulder, far away.
And then the other 2 that don't involve the Angels, Guardians re-signed veteran Austin Hedges to 1 year, $4 million deal, same thing he had the previous year. And finally, Royals re-signed Michael Wacha to 3-year, $51 million deal.
51 mil over 3?
Yeah. Well, I think there's an option in there for a 4th year. I'm not sure if it's a club or a player option. But those are the big ones. And I know they're not, huge blockbusters, but which one do you think has the most significance for the team and why?
I would say d'Arnaud, the Angels, although honestly, I don't think any of them are the most significant. I'd say just Travis d'Arnaud going over there is because you have someone to work with Logan O'Hoppe, or O'Hoppe, because he's a catcher on the rise. He's a guy that the Angels want to build around, one of the guys they do. So I think having d'Arnaud around there is going to help. I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense to Braves to let him go, knowing that Sean Murphy's probably ready to take a leap as an everyday catcher. Guy burned me in fantasy baseball last year. Thank you much for that, Sean Murphy. Much appreciated. But I'd say d'Arnaud out of those 5 is the most significant because catcher's kind of hard to get right, and d'Arnaud's been consistent everywhere he goes when he's healthy.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think he's gonna, he knows Ron Washington. He's also gonna get to go there with his buddy Jorge Soler. I think it's a good move for that pitching staff, and you mentioned O'Hoppe. Moving along, final question. I'm gonna hit you with some facts, and then I'm gonna ask my question. Okay?
Okay, lay on the facts.
Cowboys are 3-6.
Yay! I mean, okay.
They have had blowout losses in Week 2 to the Saints, which was 44-19. Week 6 against the Lions, which was 47-9, and then the most recent Week 8, 34-6 against the Eagles. Dak Prescott is out for the season, and there's a picture circulating social media of Dalvin Cook having an adult beverage on the sideline during a game.
He pulled a Chris Chelios. Holy smokes. I love that so much.
So, simple question. Is the Cowboys Super Bowl window closed?
Oh, it's been closed since 1997, buddy. It's been closed since 97. What about this team makes you think, gosh, they could really make a run in the NFC? What is it about this team?
I think it's just been the money they have spent in the past and the hype over Dak Prescott that hasn't really come to fruition.
No, it's kind of been like the Yankees in the 2010s. You're just going off the name. You're going off the past success.
Ouch. But yes.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're right.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. I mean, the 2020, sure, Yankees got the World Series, awesome. But literally from 2010 to 19, the Yankees, it was the hype.
Yeah.
It was the hype. You get 1 or 2 good players, and that's exactly what the Cowboys are. They got 1 or 2 players right now. I'm actually starting a dynasty on Madden, our franchise on Madden with the Cowboys. And let me tell you, you can draft basically every player for like 3 firsts and 3 seconds. It's a lot of fun on my end to do that. Yeah, I got 3 firsts and 3 seconds on Dak, and I about fell on my chair laughing. But anyway, yeah, Cowboys, they ain't it. They haven't been it since '96.
There you go. So the window's never open, folks. All right, that is going to do it for my big 3 questions.
Gotcha. Now, let me get to a little segment I want to get to here. 6 burning NFL questions. So, Noah, need you, my friend, to ask these questions. I have the answers.
I got it.
All right. So, what's the first question here?
What team needs a bye week in the worst possible way?
After what I saw last week, the Houston Texans. They need a chance to just stop, take a breath. Will Anderson Jr.'s got an ankle injury. That pass rush isn't quite the same without him. Obviously, left Daniil Hunter. They got a lot of playmakers hurt. Stephon Diggs' ACL goes, and they're getting close. They're almost going to get Nico Collins back. Maybe one more week. But also, offensively, there's no reason that you couldn't score a single point in the second half against Detroit. I'm sorry, that's inexcusable. You have all that talent, you have that good of an OC, and you lay an egg? No, I'm sorry. Something's got to change there. You need a bye week to kind of recalibrate, catch your breath, and see what's going on. So for me, Houston Texans, in the worst way, need a bye week.
Heard that. And going off of one of my big questions, what team is in desperate need of a shakeup of any sorts?
Dallas Cowboys. Dak should have never gotten that $60 million a year deal. You're still top heavy with CD and Micah Parsons, which, hey, hot take, might see Micah Parsons get dealt this offseason. I'll be totally honest with you. It may actually happen. Yeah, this team is really top heavy. They got a lot of young players, but they're missing Dan Quinn. They're missing a lot. I don't think they have the right coach in there. And the owner is going crazy, to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, cool, Jerry Jones in the 90s and 80s, yeah, he could build a team. Jerry Jones today try and build a team, it's literally like watching my grandpa try to fix his computer. I love you, bum. I love you. But, it's not the strength anymore.
Fair enough. And I think you're right. Cowboys. Which team would you say the league should fear the most?
I mean, this team threw 5 interceptions and still won. It should be the Detroit Lions. I mean, they also pitched a shutout in the second half against the Houston Texans without Aiden Hutchinson. This team's a problem. Both sides of the ball. Defense is finally getting where they want it to be. It took a long time. In fact, it's been 10 years since they've been actually a top 5 defense. They're number 2 defense total in 14 when the Cowboys had that phantom pass interference call waved off because Dez Bryant threw a BF. The B is a word that rhymes with my name, and the F is fit. You can figure it out from there if you've ever seen White Chicks. But no, Lions, watch out for your kneecaps. They're coming.
Yeah, it's interesting. I agree with you, but I'm curious, what made you pick the Lions over the Chiefs?
Because the Lions can beat you in any way. And the defense is still so... They just got a lot of younger pieces, I feel. And also the NFC is way more wide open than... I think the NFC, you kind of know what teams are going to be in there. AFC, sure, you got Kansas City, but there's 4 or 5 teams that could very well surprise people. In the NFC, I think it's either Detroit, Green Bay, or Philadelphia. I think San Francisco's not going to be as strong as we think. So... NFC is down to 3 teams. AFC is down to 5 or 6. So NFC's got a more easier route. So that's why I'm a little more fearful because God forbid they play Kansas City, who they beat in opening week last year. That's why I say the Lions.
Fair enough. Got to watch out for that grit. Which offseason move changed the landscape of the NFL the most? Oh, I don't like this answer.
Oh, get over it. I see what the Commanders have done. Just the entire organization, the new ownership, everything has been a game changer. But for me, Washington bringing in Dan Quinn, who subsequently brought in Cliff Kingsbury, is what's changing the NFL right now. Quinn's an awesome leader of men. Oh, get over it. Jeez.
No, congratulations to Quinn. He is doing great over there.
No, he's a great leader of men. He's a great head coach. And also... when you have a rookie quarterback in, you need the right coordinator. That's why Chicago's falling apart. It's why a lot of these rookie quarterbacks kind of fall apart, which we'll get to later in this segment. Bringing a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, who works well with a dual-threat quarterback, is exactly what Washington needed. Dan Quinn's a great defensive mind, and you got a perfect offensive mind to go with him with a quarterback you want and some of the playmakers you got. So for me, It's not really much of free agency signing. It's Washington's massive overhaul from top to bottom, bringing in Dan Quinn and bringing in Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, great defensive mind. 28-3 in the Super Bowl in the third quarter. Great defensive mind, though.
Next topic.
Sorry, I just have to get that out there. Okay, which team is most likely to make a surprise push to the postseason?
Yeah, boy, you remember I said last week I thought the Miami Dolphins spirit was going to die on Monday Night Football? Again, man, was I wrong? I'm wrong sometimes, right?
Hey, man.
But no, Tua looks better. The offense looks better. Here's Miami's remaining schedule. They got the Raiders this week, then the Patriots, at Green Bay, home against the Jets, at Houston, home against San Francisco, at Cleveland, at the Jets. They could easily go 6-2 or 7-1 in that stretch and be in the postseason. I mean, it might be hard to get in 9-8 in the AFC, but with that division being as weak as it is, you can easily be the second best team in the AFC East, and I'll give you a fighting shot if you can win 9 or 10 games. So for me, look at the pieces they got, with everything starting to get healthy again, as long as Tua's head, doesn't keep hitting turf at a very violent rate, Miami could be a team that could sneak in that has that 7 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, who would have thought? The big dog, I like being wrong on sports. I really do. If I did sports betting more, maybe I wouldn't like it. But it's just fun to see something you didn't expect.
My ego doesn't like it, but I like it when I'm wrong.
Right.
I learn a lot, so.
But yeah, good for Miami. You can never count out Mike McDaniel. Funny guy, good coach. Final question, and then we'll wrap this up. My guess is this is in reference to Anthony Richardson. Is benching
a bunch of other young quarterbacks too.
Yeah. Is benching young quarterbacks actually a sign of failure?
Yes and no. You show me one person in this world who has found great success and tell me they didn't fail at some point in their life.
I thought I had one. I don't.
Exactly. I'll use Bryce Young as an example. He got benched, week 3?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sometimes I think in Bryce Young's example, and this is why I think benching works to an extent, it's not exactly, hey, we're giving up on you entirely. Maybe in Josh Rosen's case, yeah, that was definitely the case. But when you think of these young quarterbacks trying to figure things out, especially with a new system and a coach like Dave Canales who does really well with quarterbacks, it's not the end of the world for a young quarterback to sit back for 4 to 6 weeks, sit back, learn, and grow. It's not the worst thing in this scenario to pull him out of a game scenario and just get through practice, work on certain things you see aren't quite there. Because, hey, last 2 games he started, Carolina's looked good. He's put up good numbers. They're in ball games. They're competitive. They're starting to figure things out. Carolina has a lot of holes to fix. So it's not exactly Bryce Young's fault. I mean, shoot, Will Levis last week. He had to sit for injury. He was out for a month or something. He completed 70% of his passes and had 2 touchdowns and no picks. So sometimes, benching quarterbacks, it's just a chance for them to just breathe, relax, take the pressure off for a little bit. Let's take it. It's kind of like taking a starting pitcher out of the rotation for 3-4 weeks and then putting him back in, or sending a young guy down to the minor leagues and then bring him back up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just take some time. Let's take some time and see what's not working right. Because a lot of these young quarterbacks need confidence. It's not the end of the world if a guy sits back for 4 to 6 weeks, build his confidence back up, get things right, get his mindset, fixing mechanical issues, and then you're good. Especially when you invest a lot of capital, like the Panthers did with Bryce Young. I mean, a lot of capital.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for Bryce Young's case, it's going to work. Anthony Richardson, we will see. Because I think some of the benching was, hey, I think a lot of things you got to, kind of a lesson too. Hey, you're the one guy in the field that can't tap out in the middle of the game.
Yeah, you can't quit on your team like that.
No.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think what you said is a very key point, is that it's these quarterbacks need confidence. There's no doubt that Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams are talented athletes. You can't dispute it. They are very talented, but they need that confidence. And I think you're right. sitting back, watching a vet, watching your team is good for you.
Yeah, especially when we got like Andy Dalton who's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, sure, he hasn't been he hasn't been a top 10 NFL quarterback, but still a guy who's been around the league for 15 years, which is weird to say out loud because I'm watching him in college at TCU. I'm saying it out loud. God, I am old, but no, yeah.
Same thing with Flacco for Richardson. Again, like you said, kind of like Andy Dalton, not top 10, definitely not a top 10 quarterback anymore. But they played a lot of football, and so that's good for those quarterbacks. But yeah, Big Dog, final thoughts? Anything you want to say?
Moon pie. That's what I'm gonna say.
Why can't I think of a word?
Nah, I think that wraps it up. Yeah, man. We're getting close to Thanksgiving time. Are you gonna head home for Thanksgiving? Or are you gonna stay up here?
No, my mom is actually coming up the week of Thanksgiving, and which I wasn't expecting. It was very nice. I am kind of getting that little bit of anxiety about being alone for the holidays. 1,000 miles away from my family, but it'll be nice.
Yeah, I feel that. Has she been up here before?
No, never before.
Oh,
so first
boy.
time.
Oh, she's gonna love this weather.
And they're driving, folks. They're driving from Georgia. That's 1,000 miles.
They must, man. They must really love you or something.
I guess. Love you, Mom. Love you, Mom.
Thanks, Noah's mom. You rock. But yeah, I guess this wraps up this episode. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with us by choice for the last 37 minutes. If you like what you're hearing, like, share, subscribe, share this with your neighbors, with your neighbor's neighbor, with your friend, with the crazy raccoon digging through garbage for lunch right now. Share it with him. Yeah. So this ends the episode. So for producer Noah, I'm your host, the Big Dog Mitch Vosburg. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, keep your stick on the ice.